coming on. Ho, 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 and welcome to the Nick and Adam Christmas, or to be more politically correct, holiday special, but we're mainly talking about Christmas movies today. Our favorite Christmas movies, our favorite Christmas songs. We can throw that in there because I just made that up. And then we'll even talk about some of what we think are some of the overrated Christmas or holiday movies for you. So, but my name is Nick, and I am with.
I am Adam, and Nutter Butters are part of a nutritious breakfast.
That's a PSA from the Nick and Adam show. So, but we got to start off with some news, and it's unfortunate news, Adam.
Yeah, I believe it was just I think Monday or something, something like that. No, actually, it was over the weekend. Anne Rice has passed away. She died at age 80 from a stroke. She died in California at her residence, and 80 years old, writer of the Vampire Chronicles. My family keeps telling me, my sister and my mother before she passed away, keeps saying I got to read this book called The Witching Hour, and I'm getting to it. I guess it's one of her best pieces of writing, but I'll always love her for the Vampire Chronicles. Seeing Interview with a Vampire when I was a kid. Of course, I didn't pick up on any of the gay undertones. I can see them now, but still a hell of a movie. Though it doesn't matter.
Those vampires are cool.
Right.
That's what we thought.
Well, and to be fair about that, she didn't write them straight or gay. She wrote them as a different species.
Right.
So like love was love kind of a thing. So it wasn't like it wasn't like there was a choice in those books. Now everybody's entitled, it's subject to whatever you want to think, interpretation. So, but yeah, we lost Anne Rice, and the world is a lesser place without her.
Well, and not the biggest reader, but I did enjoy the series, the Interview with the Vampire, Queen of the Damned, everything like that. So, yeah, the whole Lestat story, always enjoyed it. I know the biggest thing with Anne Rice is she went pretty much her whole career, but without an editor, right? Yeah. So it's just like, no, this is my story, 100% my story. I don't want anybody else to. And now, anybody else to mess with it, which I appreciate, but also I know that was one of the things that one of the slight critiques is the books could have been a touch better here and there, but you know what? She wanted to tell her story her way, and God bless her.
Yeah, God bless her for it. Yeah, rest in peace, Anne Rice.
So, moving on, we are going to be especially reviewing a couple movies today. We're going to be reviewing Gremlins, the holiday classic, and also we're going to be going over the new kid on the block of 8-Bit Christmas. So,
yeah.
But first of all, Adam, we're going to get into what we say. We're going to start off with overrated
negativity.
The negative. We're bringing the negativity first. So
we're bringing the black clouds.
Do we want to? I'll let you go first with the negativity. Though.
Christmas Story.
Christmas.
Horrible, terrible movie. After you watch it, like, this is awesome, you love it, and then you've seen it a million times because it's always on, and it's not that you get tired of it. I started to look at it, I'm like, this isn't good at all.
There's one, it's completely overplayed, so I'm over it. So I agree with you, but there are pieces of it that I still enjoy, but overall it's like
No, I get it, but if you watch how many scenes where the little brother, Ralphie's little brother, is whining, it's terrible. I can't move my legs, and it's like almost every 15 minutes. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's awful. That makes me want to put a hook up my nose.
Yeah, well, that's the point. He's literally the baby of the family. He gets babied constantly, speaking as a baby of the family.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
people hated you because you were the baby of the family. So that part I think is portrayed pretty accurately. Uh, but the whole nonsense of you're gonna shoot your eye out, be like, yes, okay, yeah, we're shooting our eyes out, shooting our eyes out.
that
Got
part
it.
is funny because when he says, "I shot my eye
Like
out."
crap.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nothing
So,
worse. Nothing worse than the parents being right.
oh my god, I know, I know. It's not. I mean, it's not a horrible movie, like I said, but I says I can't. It's
No,
overrated.
well, that's
It's
the thing.
overrated.
It's not a hate thing. It's I blame You know what? I blame Ted Turner because
Mhm.
he's the one who puts it on for 24 hours on starting at Christmas Eve through Christmas Day, and I'm just like, for the love of God, like I blame him because it's an okay movie. Like if you catch parts, if it's on somewhere on TV, but just that it's on 24 hours, it's bad.
We're gonna have a little political commentary here for just a moment here.
Oh, okay,
We got the right, you got the left. I think I mixed that up there, but
okay.
and then you got the conspiracy theorists on each side, right? Nobody thought that this movie had some subliminal messages in it somewhere. They're like, play it for 24 hours straight once a year. Sell it for $5.99. Sell it for $2.50 in the 90s,
Right.
And it's like, I wonder if that movie is telling people to do naughty things. More than just fudge. Say fudge.
Yeah, right.
So yeah. Not hating on the conspiracy theorists, even though you make things harder. Just maybe look at that movie for me.
So mine is It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay, that's a hate thing.
I can't stand this movie. And we were talking a little bit earlier. It's like it's not like, oh, the only reason it's a holiday classic is because it's been played, around the holidays for the last 40, 50 years.
Yeah,
It's
50, 60.
yeah, it's not because it's a good movie. It's because the TV stations literally didn't have to pay any rights just to play this free movie that didn't do well when it came out, and so that's what happened. It literally just no, it was a free movie to play during the holidays, and then everybody's like, "Oh, it's so good." I was like, "This is not a good movie."
Not at all. I was anxious to see this movie actually, like in the 7th grade. I was like, finally gonna see it. Because for some reason it was one of those movies. My mom's like, we're not watching that.
Right.
I'm like, why? She's like, you're not gonna like it. I'm like, oh, I like it. It's a wonderful life, like everybody's talking about this movie like it's the bee's knees and stuff. And then in the 7th grade, teacher put it on. I was looking forward to it. And like 25, 30 minutes in, the optimist was going, it's gonna get good. It's gonna get good. And it never did.
Yeah. It's I won't say it, but it kind of reminds me of when I try and sit down and watch like Citizen Kane, where I'm just like,
no,
I
we're gonna get lynched.
I know. Not saying it's a bad movie, but I just can't. I can't make it through it. With I can't get through it.
I haven't even tried to watch Citizen Kane, so
I've tried a few times, and every time I end up falling asleep. Once again, not that it's a bad movie. It does not keep my attention enough to make it through. So
wow, okay,
but
all right, so there it is.
but that's the top of my list for overrated Christmas movies or holiday movies. Now,
Just for competition, you definitely got me beat.
well,
At least A Christmas Story is watchable.
right, yeah, just the little girl at the end. Every time a bell rings, angel gets its wings. I was like, that's the dumbest line. That's literally the dumbest line.
But thank God she said it because we have oh come on, his name's on the tip of my tongue. He played clown in Spawn.
John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo's got that line in Spawn. Anytime someone farts, a demon gets his wings. That alone is worth the price of admission. And there is no price because that movie's in public domain and it sucks.
Right. All right, Adam. Let's get off the negative. Let's get into some of the positive. So we are doing last time for Halloween we did top 5. This time we're just going to do top 3.
Okay.
And we might have a little bit of debate as to what is technically a Christmas movie or not. So,
Well, I mean, I'm just letting you guys know at home. I wouldn't go there with me because you ain't going to win this one. But okay.
all right. So, one of my absolute favorites, from the music to everything, is the original animated Grinch. Absolutely love it. Boris Karloff, the whole thing. Absolutely love
The
it.
Christmas classic, man.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
That's
Wait,
what.
you're not talking about the Jim Carrey Grinch.
No, no,
Okay.
animated. The
Okay, I agree.
original animated one. So that one, you can't really mess with it. The music's awesome. It's got Dr. Seuss. It's a classic.
Bro, it's arguably the best, and depending on what your taste is, the only really good Dr. Seuss out there. I'm not a Dr. Seuss guy, not ripping on Dr. Seuss. I do like the Cat in the Hat and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying Dr. Seuss is like It's a Wonderful Life or anything like that. I'm just saying, aside from being the best of Dr. Seuss's work, it's literally some of the best work ever done.
Right.
It's great.
All right. Your movie.
All right, so we're going what, 3, 2, 1?
I would say
Any?
no particular order.
All right, well then let's just say it, man. Batman Returns.
And out of left field.
Yeah, but the whole movie, I mean, Jesus, it centers around Jesus. No, it centers around his birthday. And let's forget all all that stuff. I'm just saying it centers around Christmas. The whole movie is about the lighting of a tree. It opens up with a giant Christmas present on wheels, blowing out a giant gang out of it, and then tearing down a Christmas tree. And then there's a relighting of the tree where the Ice Princess is captured later. Bruce Wayne is watching the news right next to a Christmas tree. I mean, it's Christmas, Christmas, Christmas all around.
Maybe I didn't think about it just because it's so Tim Burton.
Well, yeah, but The Nightmare Before Christmas didn't come much further after that. So I would say Tim Burton likes Christmas at very least.
Maybe just not the traditional Christmas
Right.
story, but
I got a story to tell about the real quick. This will make everybody laugh.
okay.
About the Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, when that movie came out, we were high school or we maybe junior high, something like that.
Right.
School.
It came out, right around 8th, 9th grade.
Okay, so I hated it. I wanted nothing to do with it. I wouldn't even give it a chance. And then someone in our home bought it on VHS, and I tried to give it a chance, and it was like It's a Wonderful Life. I couldn't stand it. I hated it. And so I had a lady friend, and she wanted to see it, and I was like, oh, man, this movie sucks. I'm telling you, it's okay. So should we turn it on, right? And I am into it. I'm like, this is brilliant. What the hell was I thinking? Now I'm in my mid-30s at this point, and she looks at me. She goes, "Turn this crap off." I'm like, "What?" She's like, This is horrible. Turn it off." I'm like, "Well, I'm kind of into it now." She's like, "I'm not watching this." I'm like, "Oh man." So I never did finish it.
Like, that's it. We're done. That's the line.
And I was into it. So, yep, Batman Returns. Anybody else want to talk about it? I mean, feel free, but the whole thing is Christmas right there.
That's fair. I gotta go. It's kind of easy, but Christmas Vacation.
Oh,
Still,
yeah.
Still holds up. I don't care what decade. I think I'm more of a Chevy Chase fan than your average person, but it's once again, hate to overuse the term. It's classic, but it's just it might be into that realm of a perfect movie.
I agree. I agree. There's 3 other vacation movies. All of them are good.
Right.
So a couple of them are very good, but they're not as good as that one.
No.
Not at all.
No, yeah. Out of the the Vacation series. That's clearly the winner.
Did you see the new one where Rusty is the father?
Oh no, I didn't know. No,
Yeah, you didn't know that that existed?
when did that come out?
Within the last 5 years.
No, it's probably one of those things that I just said. I just looked at. I was like, no.
Yeah, like what? Oh, this just did. Nick's mind. He's looking it up.
I was like, I have to see this now. So,
Yeah, look it
do
up.
you know
That's
the? Uh,
it's supposed to be they go to Wally World again, I think. So it's like National Lampoon's Vacation again or something.
oh, oh. Okay, so it's got Ed. Oh, it's the one with Ed Helms and Christina Applegate.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Rusty Griswold takes his own family on a road trip to Wally World in order to spice things up with his wife and reconnect with his sons. All right, I like Ed Helms, so and I like Christina Applegate. Um, yeah, that came out in 2015.
I've never seen it, so
It's
I can't really crap on it. Only thing I could crap on with it is that okay, not they were reaching for ideas, but maybe they thought they had a good idea, maybe they did. So
it's got Chris Hemsworth in it, Charlie Day, Ron Livingston. It's got a solid cast.
yeah, Chris Hemsworth was also in Lady Ghostbusters. What does that make me think?
No, he needs money. He's clearly broke. That's what that says to me. Leslie Mann, Beverly D'Angelo, still love you, Beverly. Um,
Especially in European Vacation.
well, yeah, let's say that's every teenager's fantasy there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. So I didn't even know that was a thing. But as far as Christmas movie Christmas movie goes, Christmas Vacation can't get much better as far as, and it's not just a comedy. You know, it hit like any solid or great movie. It hits all the notes. You know, even the moments where he's up in the attic, gets trapped in the attic, he's watching
Oh
the old
gosh.
family movies. It hits all the notes. It's a great movie.
And then they pull the attic door open on him.
And that's why, like I said, I don't know what it is, but I look to this day, Chevy Chase. I just love everything about him.
I always have. I
Always
always
have.
have.
I know he's got a reputation of being, kind of a dick, but whatever. But I also heard there's a good reason for that because of all like the pratfalls and everything that he took. He's in constant pain.
Oh
So,
wow.
so he's just, he's always just cranky because he's in constant pain from all the falls and everything he's taken, throughout his entire career. But it's one of those speculation, rumor territories. But
Right.
I can understand that.
We ought to do a series on this show about Chevy Chase movies.
Oh, we could do that. There's a few movies.
Funny Farm.
Well, there's Funny Farm, and then have you seen? Um, it's a movie. It's basically about the start of like Mad. Is it Mad?
Mad
No,
Magazine?
no. The National Lampoon.
Oh.
So the uh, yeah. So let me look it up real quick because it's got kind of a weird, but it's kind of a informal take on the beginning of the whole National Lampoon. And
Nice.
trying to think of.
There was something. Oh, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Do you know when it came out?
Hold on.
Well, don't look it up. I would rather just
I
tell you.
oh yeah, tell me.
Came out in the summer of '89, the same summer as Batman. Came out the same summer as Ghostbusters 2. So 3 big movies like that.
Well, that's funny because that gets into because we're going to be talking about Gremlins, and I was looking at some of the things for Gremlins. Gremlins came out in '84, and was for being as great a movie as was, it's still only the 4th highest grossing movie from 1984. So,
What was number 1? Ghostbusters?
yeah.
All right.
So, well, I think so. I'm almost positive. So the movie that I was referring to was A Futile and Stupid Gesture. And
Ah,
in the 70s and 80s, National Lampoon's success and influence creates a new media empire overseen in part by the brilliant and troubled Douglas Kenney. So it basically tells the whole story about doing, starting off these two writers from Harvard, and then they go all the way to doing Caddyshack, and like discovering all the geniuses that basically go on to do, the first couple cast of Saturday Night Live, and it's just a really interesting take on the whole story because it's such a weird story because
I'll say.
Douglas Kenney it ends up, I forget exactly what he was diagnosed with, but they're not sure if he committed suicide or jumped off a cliff in Hawaii. So it's kind of one of those, yeah, just a really interesting take on man. So, but it's a really cool movie. That's one of those movies I've watched over and over and over.
Yeah. What's it called again?
A make sure I get it right. A futile and stupid gesture.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Came out in 2018. It's got
Especially,
it's got Will Forte in it, uh, Martin Mull, uh, Donald Gleason, who actually plays in he plays what's its character's name in Star Wars. He plays General Hux in Star Wars.
cool.
But it's yeah, that's one of those really cool off the wall movies. So, all right, your turn. Sorry.
Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Oh, that's such a good one. That's a good movie.
Yeah, that's awesome. It was hard because Scrooged had to be on the list, so it was like a toss up. Do I put a and let me give an honorable mention because it should be on this list. I love this movie too. It was a toss up between should I put Batman Returns or do I put A Christmas Carol on there? Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I love Charles Dickens. It's a Christmas
Oh,
Carol.
that's a great story.
Yeah, I mean, dude. It should be noted that I really love that movie. That's a movie, not freaking uh, It's a Wonderful Life. Anyways, long story short, Scrooged,
Scrooge.
the night
Um,
the reindeer died.
that might be as close to Bill Murray being Bill Murray as there is.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And I love Bill Murray to death, but that's probably just him just being himself.
He's like, no script.
Right. Yeah. No. Oh, let me see here. I'm just going to do what I want to do.
Yep. If you don't work late, I can't work late.
It's funny because I know one of his brothers is in the movie who plays actually his brother in the movie. And then I forget if it's other brothers actually in the movie, but
Yeah.
that's a
Did you
good
ever
one.
get around to seeing Ghostbusters Afterlife?
No, that's on the this weekend when I actually have time. It's going to be pretty full up with movies because we're actually not going to see Spider-Man until Sunday, unfortunately. But in the meantime, for either Friday or Saturday, I'm gonna go see
Well,
Ghostbusters.
I gotta tell you my Spider-Man situation right now. Um, I happen to I'm like, I wonder what it's like. Everybody's saying it's sold out, and so I look at the like 5:30, 6 o'clock showing on Thursday night, and it's pretty well packed. Then I looked at like the 7:15 showing. Nobody bought a damn seat except for like 3 people.
I'll,
I was like, I'm an idiot if I don't buy this right now. So I picked my seat, and I am dead center at the top row.
well, that's great because everybody's got that FOMO, right? Who's the fear of missing out. So everybody goes to the first showing as much as they can, and then you're like, oh wait, the showing right after, there's like no one there. Oh yeah,
Oh,
let's do
sure,
that.
yeah, yeah. And I wouldn't want to go to an earlier showing. That gives me more time after work to take a shower, all that kind of stuff. So I'm in, and then my nephew called me. He's like, "Do you want to come see Spider Man with me and my dad on Sunday?" Yes.
Right. Yes, I
So
do. I sure
yes, I
do.
do.
All right. So my third movie, and this is moderately controversial.
Okay.
Die Hard.
If my third movie wasn't what my third movie is, mine would probably be Die Hard too. Die Hard as well.
Because
So
I know some people say no, it's not. But I'm like, no, it takes place during Christmas. It's a Christmas party. He wraps the guy up in the end in Christmas wrapping. I don't see how you can't. I mean, I'm sure there's a Santa in there somewhere, but overall, it's a Christmas movie. It's got
you
some
ever see?
Christmas music. Doesn't it have Run DMC?
It's got Run DMC said.
Yeah, isn't that their Christmas song? So yeah,
Yeah,
it's got Christmas music.
and that's considered a Christmas song.
Yeah,
You know?
that's no, it's all the criteria met. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And if we weren't dancing around in 1994 to "All I Want for Christmas Is," that Run DMC song would be a lot more recognized today.
Yeah, damn Mariah Carey.
Yeah. My ex-wife, Mariah Carey.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
But yeah, no, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Okay, you got a guy who can't see his family on Christmas.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
what he's trying to reconnect. You know, with his not estranged, but sort of estranged
yeah, he's separated from his wife, not quite divorced.
marriage on the rocks.
Right.
Trying to fix it for the
Yeah.
family.
Why are you calling yourself Holly Gennaro?
Right.
You know, and then you got Hans Gruber and all of that.
Well,
And
and I just remember like speaking of that because when he goes and like hits the buttons to look up where they're at, and like, oh, Holly Gennaro, oh, she's on this floor. He's like, oh yeah, they're the only ones left. Be like, why didn't you say that in the beginning? Instead, you
Right.
made me go through the stupid interface where like, oh, I have to search. Be like, no, it's probably the only people left in the building, John. So that
and
part, but it's one of those. I get what the point is to say, oh, she's using her maiden name,
yeah,
and so
but also one of the best parts that I like about it is like I can't remember. It's been so long. Hey,
hey, here's my kid. This is Kitty Sparkles,
hi, Kitty Sparkles.
but he's just here because Trudy's not here.
Well, I pick up the boy's sister on Saturday.
Oh
So,
yeah, the other one.
Yep, she's coming.
The family's getting bigger.
It sure is. These cats better start singing like them chipmunks. I'll tell you that. But
Or start pulling your weight.
that's right. You remember this? It's been a long time since I've seen Die Hard, so I don't remember what happened to make the guy do this. Maybe it was the ho ho ho, now I have a machine gun scene, but the one of the terrorists was just flipping out and everything, and Holly Gennaro goes,
yeah, because
she goes, he's still alive.
like,
What do you mean? Only John could drive somebody crazy like that.
yeah, I could only drive someone that crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, because he had killed the guy's brother.
Oh, okay.
The-
With
yeah,
the ho ho ho, now I got a machine gun.
I think so. But either way, because they were both blonde, because they killed him, and then the other blonde guy, he was the second level boss that he has the big fight at the very end with. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah,
So yeah,
that's why that seems like that.
that was a great movie. Great movie.
All right, so
I
it's
gotta
settled.
watch it.
It's a Christmas movie.
Oh yeah, it'll always be a Christmas movie in my heart and my mind and my soul. So my number one, my favorite Christmas movie
I can hear you
of all
hitting the
time.
desk.
Sorry, I forgot.
No problem.
Always remind me of that, kids. My favorite Christmas movie of all time. I saw the trailer for this movie after it was already in the theaters. The economy had tanked. I was working at Blockbuster Video, and
When there still was Blockbuster videos.
right. So this was 2008, and my sister got me the DVD for Christmas that year. Still have it. directed by Harold Ramis, The Ice Harvest. And it is a pitch black comedy with John Cusack
I
and
would
Billy
say,
Bob Thornton.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I did not see that one, but I remember. Now you
And
say that. As soon as you said that, I was like, I think that's Billy Bob Thornton and John Cusack. So
you know,
that was Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis directed it. Yes, it's a Harold Ramis directed movie, and they steal $2 million from their mob boss, played by Randy Quaid, and his character's name was Bill Gerard. Um, Connie Nielsen is in it. If you know Connie Nielsen from Wonder Woman, she plays Hippolyta, Wonder Woman's mother. And it's about murder, it's about deception, it's all these things, and it's pretty damn. I mean, it's dark. It's a dark pill to swallow. I will say that, and it's not the kind of Christmas movie. Like Die Hard is the kind of Christmas movie you could show like a 6 or 7 year old, because I was 6 or 7, and they
Right.
were like, "Yeah, this is great, bad guys, evil's punished." And this is just like a little kid would be like, "I don't get it." But if you've ever done any bad stuff in your life, you kind of be like, "Okay, this is a good movie."
Right.
So,
So off the board, but it's being added to the list. Ice Harvest is a Christmas movie.
oh, I mean, absolutely. The opening theme song is the Little Drummer Boy.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do.
One more minute.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think it's important here. I'm gonna get on a little soapbox here. I think it's important, especially for like what we're doing right now at this moment in time, and we're talking about these things that affect pop culture, is to acknowledge to the people watching and that which we have acknowledged to ourselves. It doesn't have to be cartoony. It doesn't have to be for children and families. A Christmas movie can be harsh. It can be serious. It can be dark. Like, look at The Ref. That's a Christmas movie, but there's no
Sure.
kids gonna like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, I like it, but so that's my point. Is that there is a stereotype to a Christmas movie, and that's exactly what it is a stereotype.
No, I agree pretty much, and I don't like when people kind of start inputting and saying, "Well, that's not a Christmas movie," because one of the movies that we're going to be talking about a little bit later, someone tried to bring that up with my wife, and it's just like, okay, first of all, I can knock this argument down in about 5 seconds, but at the end of the day, a Christmas movie doesn't even have to be a Christmas movie. All it has to be is something that reminds you of the holidays or brings the family together.
Yeah.
That's what a good one. That's what a good movie does. Two, that's what the holidays are for, is to really bring the family together, or at least your loved ones together.
Mm-hmm.
And three, it's just it, man. With everything going on today, just a movie that makes you feel good. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we
And
we can sit and play the what is a Christmas and what isn't a Christmas movie. Well, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because you like what you like.
all film is subjective. And I did just watch a movie that made me feel good last night. We're going to talk about that in a minute here.
So, but one thing I mentioned at the beginning, and I kind of just threw it in there. I'm gonna go with my top Christmas tunes that I enjoy listening to.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with it's kind of a two answers in one, but I love the Grinch who stole Christmas, Boris Karloff, but also Gary Hoey's instrumental version of the Grinch Who Stole Christmas is phenomenal,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
love that.
That is awesome.
That's one of my favorite things. But also, then In Excelsis Deo is also my favorite Christmas music. So just wanted to throw that
Nice.
in there, wrap that up with a nice little bow with things that I enjoy for the holiday season.
Okay. So um, I'm going to go number two and then to number one because these are in order.
Sure.
So number two would be The Night Santa Went Crazy by Weird Al Yankovic. And number one, my number one all time favorite Christmas song uh, and it will if I die during the Christmas season someday, I want this played at I don't know, play it on your radios and toss me in a dumpster. I don't care, but that's a joke. I don't want to be eaten by rats. I already got cats. Um, Oi to the World by No Doubt.
I was gonna bring that up earlier when you were mentioning like things during the '90s Christmas songs because I will still listen to that.
I listened to it. I listened to it in June.
Right? Yeah, because
I love that song.
I forget the name of the album, but it was like "This Is Christmas 1995" or '96 or something.
Okay.
Is
I got it on a
that's the album I think that I remember it having it on.
yeah, I had it on a like a lost songs album that No Doubt put out. And I think that it had It's My Life on it, and it had Oi to the World on it, and then a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, so oh, that's a
Yeah.
good one. That makes me happy.
See? Makes you want like to hang out in the sunshine on
Oh,
Christmas. I would kill for Hawaiian, not really kill, but I would love to have a Hawaiian type Christmas. Like I don't care if that Hawaiian type Christmas is spent in Florida or Louisiana. I don't give a crap.
it's
But like
slightly,
if it was
somewhat slightly tropical.
dude, Christmas day with 95 degrees and a heat index. I mean, just hot,
As I
worse than chicken wings.
it wasn't Christmas time, but it was November when Trudy and I took our honeymoon to Mexico, and it was in the 80s. And I remember them going like, "Yeah, this is cold for us." I was like, "This is amazing." I was like, "This is great. This is like perfect." And it was just it was a week, and it was one of those where it was so slow and so just didn't have to be anywhere, and it was a week, and it felt like two, and I was like, we gotta do that again. But
What was your number one Christmas song again? You had The Grinch and
the
Gary
Grinch,
Hoey.
Gary Hoey, and then I went with In Excelsis Deo, and then we could throw in a couple of
I was going to ask you, what would you put on there as a classic Christmas song? And when I say classic, I mean pre 1965.
okay, I say pre-Trans Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Christmas in Sarajevo. Just Carol the Bells. I don't know if that's pre 1965. I assume
I'm pretty sure that's like
that hit somewhere, but
1002.
right. But Carol the Bells is a classic as well.
Yeah, it's haunting. I like it.
Yes.
I like White Christmas, even though I just said I want a tropical one. I I like White Christmas and I like Silent Night. Those would be my two. And God Rest You Merry Gentlemen is a great song too.
Yeah, I remember my dad always singing. Yeah, White Christmas.
Yeah. My mother would sing, not sing it. She'd play Blue Christmas
Right.
by Elvis. So.
what what was that?
That was how the song went. I can remember I was like a preteen the first time I ever heard Blue Christmas. I'm sure of it. Or at least the first time I ever remember hearing it. And they would be like,
Right.
and I'm like, is this a joke? My mom was like, no, it's not a joke. Why would you say that?
Because it sounds funny, Mom. That's why.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like a song at all.
So, all right, let's get into it. Our holiday movie reviews, and like I said, this one I didn't think was controversial, but slightly controversial is 1984's Gremlins.
Oh, stick it up your ear if you don't like Gremlins. I mean, that's all
So,
I can say about that. It was awesome, dude. I hadn't seen it since I was a child.
yeah,
And
produced by Steven Spielberg, directed by Joe Dante, starring Zach Galligan as Billy, the always amazing Phoebe Cates as Kate, Hoyt Axton, which is just a great name, as Randall Peltzer, Billy's dad, uh, John Louis as the Chinese boy. Not sure how you get away with that still, but
Right,
Uh,
the Chinese boy.
yeah, just the Chinese kid. Key Luke as grandfather, and you got a Corey Feldman sighting. Uh, Dick
Definitely.
Dick Miller, that guy as is just that's one of my favorite like 80s/90s actors. He plays Mr. Futterman, and the whole cast is just top notch from head to toe on this one.
Wasn't
And
he the same guy that played in Demon Knight?
yes,
That's
that's what
the
I was just thinking that because I was like, what else is he in? But yeah, he's in Demon Knight, which is also another one of my favorites. That'll oh god.
another movie where he's drunk.
Oh yeah, that's another movie where we got to do a deep dive. That movie's criminally underrated.
Filter.
Phil, from the music from the okay sidebar from the music from that movie to Billy Zane to Dick Miller to dude, that movie is so good on so many freaking levels, and it
Yeah.
is criminally underrated. People are like, "What movie?" I'm like, "Have you not seen this movie?" But anyway, getting back on track. So you got Judge Reinhold, Polly Holiday as Mrs. Deagle, and uh, yeah, this is just one of those movies that because we had just sat down to watch it, I was like, man, there's a lot of levels to this movie because
Sure.
it's labeled as a comedy, fantasy, horror, and you're like, horror is like, oh yeah, and not just horror from the monsters, but some of the people are pretty, pretty
Despicable.
despicable and monsters themselves. It was like, holy moly.
Well, look what Mrs. Deeble said about doing to the dog.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like thinking, I was like, did I pay attention? Like when I was a kid, I was like, holy crap, what a terrible person. Everybody's just okay with it because she's got money.
Yeah, yeah. Now nowadays you get eaten alive for that, and rightfully so. um, I want your dog. I'll take him to the kennel and they'll put him asleep. It'll be humane and fast. Unless you want me to do what I will do to it.
Yeah.
Slow, long. I'll put him in my microwave.
All right.
The
So,
hell?
yeah, so, all right. So, quick storyline from, and I'm going off of IMDb. So, miniature green monsters tear through the small town of Kingston Falls. Hijinks ensued as mild mannered bank teller releases those hideous loonies after gaining a new pet and violating two of the three simple rules: no water, violated; no food after midnight, violated; and no bright lights. Hilarious mayhem and destruction in a town straight out of a Norman Rockwell painting. So, when your washing machine blows up or your TV goes on the fritz, before you call the repairman, turn on all the lights and look under all the beds because you can never tell. There just might be a gremlin in your house.
They were vicious too.
Well, let's get into it. So, Randall Peltzer, so that's Billy's dad, is looking for a last minute Christmas gift for his son and walks into this old Chinese shop and he finds this little monster, you know,
Magua.
little
Magui.
yeah, little cute looking thing. Offers to pay for it and the grandfather says no. And then so the little Chinese boy as labeled in the movie, John Louis says, "Meet me in the alley." So he takes the little Mogwai and gives him the three simple rules and says, "All right, the deal's done. Do this, don't do that." Pretty simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And takes him for his son Billy, gives it as a Christmas gift, and so gives him the rules too. But it turns out some of these things are a little bit more devious than you seem because all he accidentally spilled some water on Mogwai
Yeah, well, we can call him Gizmo now.
as Gizmo. Okay, yeah. So we'll move on. Call him Gizmo. Ends up creating a few extra ones, and it's pretty funny because they, I guess, in the original script, they wanted Gizmo to be the bad guy as well once he transforms.
Glad they didn't do that.
But no, Steven Spielberg said no. We have to have the dichotomy of the good versus evil. So that's where they introduced Spike and all those guys. So Um,
Spike or Stripe? You was Stripe, right?
was it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was Stripe. And was it was in the second one? It might be Stripe in the second one, but either way, so you got to have your good guy versus your bad guy. So
So thoughts?
thoughts. It's one of those movies, like I said, where it's so 80s good. Like we were talking about the the old Mrs. Deagle. So she's obviously the richest person in this little town, and she gets to do whatever she wants. And
She's
so,
the lady from Wizard of Oz.
let's see.
No, no, not the actress. I'm saying the character in the black and white part of Wizard of Oz. I'll get you
Right,
and that dog, you know?
right.
Oh, God, she's even talking about getting a dog, dude.
she's she is terrible. So, and then
So, yeah, definitely a trope.
right, and then who plays the mom? Why can't I find her?
Oh,
Is
the
that
mom, whoever
that
she is, she's been in a million things.
is that Belinda Blasky? That doesn't look right. Miss Harris. No, why don't they have her? Huh. But yeah, it goes pretty much from hey, here's this little adorable thing. What's the worst thing that could happen? And it goes, well, this the little furry mogwai, the new ones, end up chewing through Billy's clock and tricking him into feeding them after midnight. Because you're like, well, what could happen? What's the worst that could happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, the things that emerge.
Yeah, the Gremlins, and it's kind of funny because they come out as Mogwai, but they go into a cocoon type stage, which kind of makes me wonder about the evolution of one of these things because Gizmo was sad when they were born. So like maybe Gizmo was a gremlin and maybe he's an old gremlin now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Maybe Gizmo was little shitty ass Gizmo, and then maybe he became the Gremlin, and maybe he just survived long enough to go back to Gizmo and kind of like maybe like realize the error of his ways or something like that. I know I'm really putting like a 2021 spin on this movie, like,
Hey, that's fine.
but you know, because why weren't the other Mogwai like Gizmo? They were all dicks, you know. Yeah, I loved when they all turned around and they were in the box and he walked out and like they chewed on the cord so they could eat after midnight and they're like that just reminded me so much of shit I've seen in the 80s, like stuff like cartoons and everything where everybody would turn around and they'd be whispering and all you'd hear is like okay now that you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I loved that. I was like, oh.
And one of my favorite things to do is to go into IMDb and go through the trivia. And one of the things that I found is um, there was a discussion as to whether they should do puppets or dress spider monkeys as the gremlins.
No, puppets. It's a terrible.
let's find out what happened when they dressed a spider monkey. So pretty
They
much
ate someone's face.
it pretty much went as you would expect. It started ripping at they did this in an office. So they did this in an office. They dressed the spider monkey and the thing started going insane, started ripping its trying to rip the face part off, trying to rip the head off the mask off the monkey, starts flinging shit everywhere. And the guy looks at the other guy and goes, so puppets?
Right. I hope that's on tape somewhere. I'd like to see that.
Oh yeah. Let's see the hey moron, I've got an idea. Let's get some spider monkeys and try and corral them.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But then the puppets were so expensive that each of them at the time, 1984, were 30 to 40 grand a piece. So they were checking everybody's trunks and every, making sure no one was trying to rip one of these things off the set. So, oh my lord. So that's one of the things they tried to do. Spider monkeys.
I got nothing. Wouldn't even have crossed my mind. What would have crossed my mind? What would have crossed my mind today would be like, okay, so like, do we get like maybe like a child who's really talented to do like the moves and the animation, and then we CGI over it? Or back in the day, I would have been like, so should we call Jim Henson and see what's going on? Never, ever would I think, should we dress a wild animal like a ghoul and see how it goes.
But see, that's a perfect 80s thing to do. Be like, because remember growing up, everybody thought like having a monkey as a pet was like a good idea. Like, everybody's like, I want a monkey. And then you realize they're freaking savage animals. I was like, especially like chimpanzees. Everybody's like, oh, I want a chimpanzee. I was like, have you watched a documentary about chimpanzees? These things are freaking vicious.
As they get older, they demature. They lose their shit.
Yeah, it's completely 80s idea. I'd be like, get some monkeys here.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend any of our viewers out there if this is you. I'm just saying I don't understand you. It's like people who get alligators and snakes. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
snakes I don't get. I do, and this is an ongoing issue. I want a little leopard gecko in my office, but
you think it can eat you?
no,
No,
it's
that's
tiny.
not exactly. That's how good.
Yeah, but well, you said I've heard the people who get like a python. Next thing you know, the thing gets so big it's got its own room, and they literally just throw food in there. I'm like, oh my lord.
No.
But then again, that's why you have issues like in Florida where there's no uh, small rodents anymore. It's because they bought all these exotic animals, and they just, once they get too big, they just let them loose. So there's no rabbits anymore. There's no like squirrels in certain areas because they just go let them loose in nature, quote unquote nature, and next thing you know, there's it's you know what, Florida, that's what you get. That's what happens. That's why we have current state of Florida right now. It's because people took all these animals and said, "Oh no, I don't know what to do," and then just took it and let it loose in nature.
I wonder if that's how the Detroit Panther came about. You remember like 15 years ago? It was always on the news, like another panther sighting in Detroit. Yeah. I wonder if somebody had a baby panther and was like, oh, this is getting a little hard to handle. See ya.
Well, like, did you see when Mike Tyson was on Joe Rogan?
Yeah, one of them. One of the interviews.
Mike Tyson's just like, wait, I can own tigers? The guy's like, yes. Oh yeah. It's like, make it happen, man. It's like, yeah, people was like, I can own a tiger, and then you realize like, oh, it's still a freaking tiger. So
yeah. Okay, we have gotten off the beaten path.
Gremlins, but
I can own a gremlin.
Yeah, you can own a gremlin for the low price of talking to a Chinese boy in the alley.
That was $200.
Yeah, $200.
Yeah. Well, he said his own price. He messed up. Probably could have got it for $55.
Could have talked him down a little bit.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite scenes in the movie is once the gremlins hatch and are starting to take over, is the scene with the mom where she's baking cookies.
Oh,
or baking the gingerbread cookies. It's so funny because she goes from making gingerbread men and making all these cookies to, I'm going to have to kill something.
Yeah. She kills 3 of them, doesn't she?
And just the switch, you just see the switch go. She's like, oh, I'm going to have to kill something.
And I was expecting her to like run out of the house screaming. I didn't expect her to grab a knife and start fighting.
No, and
That was cool.
yeah, dude, I love that scene. It's such a funny scene because it's just oh, I'm making gingerbread man, blah 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 blah. Be like, does mom have to kill a bitch? Mama's have to kill a bitch, and it just at instantly she goes, it's on. I'm gonna have to kill something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, between what she gets one with the microwave, one she just straight up stabs, and then the other one gets put in the mixer.
That's right, the microwave one. Oh, what a way to go. What movie was it that? Oh, Kick Ass. Remember when the guy got put in a giant microwave? Did you see Kick Ass?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Ugh! You gonna talk? You gonna talk or poof?"
But that's one of the things I love. That's why I was trying to find the actress's name because she plays such a badass mom, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah. And also the thing I liked about Gremlins too is when Billy and Kate are walking down the street and uh, kind of getting to know each other. I think it's just before Billy asks her out, but Billy's got this naive concept of Christmas, and I thought everybody liked Christmas and everybody's had. And she starts talking about how the suicide rates are up and people don't like it. She even makes a comment of like, more risks get opened up at Christmas time than any other time of the year. And I respect that, especially for that time to say something that profound.
Well,
Because
and that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this movie because it really hits on a lot of things that not a lot of movies were willing to go to.
right,
Especially like you said, that talking about suicide. What holiday movies talk about suicide? Or why
exactly,
people don't like the holidays.
right.
And it's such a novel concept to talk about. But I think it was, like you said, it was pretty brave of Steven Spielberg and Joe Dante to take that on, and be like, yeah, man, no. For a lot of people, the holidays suck. You know, yeah, her story sucks. It's terrible. Her
Oh
dad
my
her
God,
dad dies trying to play Santa. And it's like, oh shit, like, and it's something you get that you don't get anymore is like a true backstory and a true like motivation as to why a character is the way they are.
right.
And it's something that's really lacking in today's filmmaking in general.
I think it's lacking too in a lot of like maybe throughout the past 25 years. Um, because people don't really want. I don't know. We crossed into some kind of like we don't need that much information. Kind of a
Oh yeah,
kind of an
the
audience.
TMI. Let's go into someone's past, but let's not go too deep.
Right.
And that's 100% something that a lot of people are willing to do. They're willing to go, skin deep on a lot of things, but no, like let's actually take a look at, like you said, if someone doesn't like Christmas, well, you're just a humbug, or you're just a this.
Yeah,
But
you're
like,
just a Grinch.
yeah, you're just a Grinch. But like, no, I've got reasons as to why, and everybody's got a story, and everybody's got a background that no one has any idea about.
Right.
So, but like you said, I think it was, and that's watching this movie. You sit there and you start taking things like holy moly, like they went there, and now one of the other things is like a lot of people die in this movie.
Good grief. Tell me about it. Yeah.
As I was like,
It's a
holy
slaughter.
moly, and not just like, oh, like, it's very willy nilly. Like they're just killing characters off left and right. Poor Mr. Futterly, the way he goes.
Oh yeah.
And that's
With his
another.
American made plow.
Well, there's American made plow, and also the guy's got post traumatic stress, right? I forget
Right.
if he was World War II or was it Korea that he was mentioning. Where he was like, no, that's the Gremlins. That's what you know.
Yeah.
You know, the poor guy's got would be labeled now with post traumatic stress as a veteran. And he's just you know crazy Mr. Futterly.
Mr. Futterly.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I this movie went a lot of places that or Mr. Futterman, sorry. when a lot of places that, especially for a holiday movie, just really, really never went to.
Yeah, and I think that it absolutely counts. If you make a point to talk about the dark side of humanity and the dark side of Christmas and how it's not a pleasant experience for everybody, and it's not this roses and kittens and puppies and these are a few of my favorite things type stuff. If you
or
make a
or
point,
or you have to be happy during this
right?
time of year.
You make a point to talk about that, to talk about the trauma that induces that darkness and that longing and that sadness, and you make this movie at a Christmas, at it's set during Christmas time. That Mogwai was a Christmas present because Mogwai was a Christmas present. You just hit it out of the park with writing. I mean, you really you made a statement. You did something that a lot of people won't do. A lot of studios won't pick something up like that anymore.
Oh,
Everybody's just looking for Elf.
well, that's the other thing. You get a like I said, you can't bring this movie out anymore. I think they're maybe talking about doing another Gremlin sequel, but the thing that captured everybody's imaginations and actually, hate to keep going, but it hits on things. A lot of things wouldn't have never been touched on, before the movie came out, and it really went there. And
Yeah,
it's still at its core, it's still like a fun, weird Halloween or not Halloween
you
horror
could
type
watch it
movie.
at Halloween.
You can
You
watch it.
could.
You can watch it anytime. It's a great movie.
Yeah. It also does something else. Like it sneaks in a comparison. You're talking about the post traumatic stress. It sneaks in kind of a nod and like a salute to our veterans that served in World War II. I'm not saying gremlins are real, but there were reports of bizarre stuff, and the word gremlin was used. Chloe Grace Moretz just did a movie. Was out last year. I saw it. It wasn't bad at all. It was pretty good, about gremlins on the wing of a plane, and then they had to fight a gremlin. Um, while they're trying to evade the uh, I think it was the German Air Force or the Japanese Air Force trying to blow them out of the sky. So they're fighting a gremlin and the Japanese at the same time. I think it's well, if it's not the Japanese, it's just the Germans. But him talking about World War II, him being a vet, the fact that you got the gremlins, it all ties. It ties into a nice, pretty bow.
It does.
A bow like Christmas.
Well, and it even touches on the well, I want to say the corporatization of Christmas, where the whole thing starts because he's got to give his kid a special gift. It can't
Yeah,
he can't get him just anything. It's got to be this crazy ass shop that he walks into
yeah,
and
yeah.
finds this little monster, and then it plays a little bit into that and a little bit of the naivete of the kid, where, oh well, we need money, for grandfather's shop, trying to do something good, and ends up like, no, you literally just unleashed a monster onto these unsuspecting stupid Americans who are, you know like you said, they just wanted something cute without, really thinking about the consequences. Like, that's pretty much America.
Hey, maybe stay with me now. You could say that this was based on a true story. Now, stick with me here. This big disaster happens, and but prior to it, once all the Maguire are born, what does the dad say? This could be the big one. 1984, all this bad stuff happens. By the mid to late 90s, what do you get? What do you get? Furbies.
Which is what
A gizmo.
is exactly it. That's what it's based off.
Exactly. So I'm saying the real guy who bought his son something weird that backfired on them went on to invent the Furby.
Dun dun dun.
Mind blown.
which was funny because those things were demonized too, because you couldn't take them to work, right? Certain places you couldn't take them to work because they were. Someone was saying what they were Chinese.
Really?
Yeah, they were record because they would record things, right? Because they were supposed to, uh, talk back to you, and they would be almost like parrots. But they recorded everything that they not everything that they heard, but enough to where scared a lot of corporations where they wouldn't allow them into work. All right, so let's get into some of the trivia of the movie. So this movie was released the same day, talking about being ballsy, as Ghostbusters.
Get out of town.
This was released the same day as Ghostbusters. Talk about, hey man, you're going after it. Let's go. Let's go.
Right. Ivan Reitman's got to be loving that one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, well, I beat Steven Spielberg once.
So also Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came out that year too. Holy moly, what a loaded freaking year.
I had no idea Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was a prequel.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I do know you do not need, maybe we talked about this and maybe you already know it, but you don't need Indiana Jones at all in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, and that's kind of the funny thing about really most of the Indiana Jones movies is everybody's like, "Oh, is he a hero?" He's like, he never really wins. He kind of always loses in the end.
It like breaks even.
So, after watching Tim Burton's early short films, executive producer Steven Spielberg considered him to direct this movie, but decided against it. However, because at the time Burton had never directed a full length movie.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And Miss Deagle, the richest lady in town, had named her cats after different kinds of currency, including the kopeck, the ruble, the peso, the drachma, and dollar bill.
Wow.
The Gizmo pets are particularly frustrating because they were smaller and thus broke down more. Consequently, to satisfy the crew, a scene was included in which the gremlins hung Gizmo on a wall and throw darts at him. This was
Oh yeah.
included on a list that the crew created, known to them as horrible things to do to Gizmo list.
I like that.
The idea for these creatures was born in a loft in Manhattan's Garment District that was home to New York University Film School graduate screenwriter Chris Columbus. By day, it was pleasant enough, but at night, it sounded like a platoon of mice would come out and you'd hear them skittering around in the blackness. It was really creepy. Columbus recalls. What a terrifying
Nice.
city.
Tell me about it.
Let's see here. The original script contained a scene where the gremlins attacked McDonald's, eating the customers instead of burgers. See, this is the stuff I'm talking about. Like, holy moly!
Right.
Like they,
See, it wasn't such a soft culture back then.
yeah. I see. That's the thing because I'm just sitting back, like you said, now with 2021 eyes, going, holy crap! Like they're killing people. They are burning everything down. They're looking at nudie mags. They're just going for it in every conceivable way. It's like, you know, not to get too, whatever about it, but it's like it's just sin running rampant.
Well, yeah, but everybody well, not everybody, obviously, because we're now in this day and age, but it's not real.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not real at all. I heard about this listening to a podcast a few years ago, Hollywood Babylon. Uh, Ralph Garman talks about, I guess it was a minister or a priest, one of the two, who had banned all the Harry Potter books from the school library. And he said that when the kids are reading it, they're reciting incantations and stuff. And Kevin Smith was like, "Well, yeah, when I was in Catholic school, this and that." He goes, and then just Ralph Garman flips out. He goes, "Kevin, It's not real. It's not real at all. And just in that little meltdown, it's like, yeah, it's not real, you know?
Well, that's I always thought that was so funny about the Harry Potter books, where it's like, oh, it's evil, it's witchcraft. I'm like, one, it's not real. Two, J.K. Rowling's a Christian.
Right.
There's a lot of, if you actually read the books and watch the movies, there's a lot of Christian overtones, especially with spoiler alert, Harry Potter comes back from the dead and all these things. Like there's a lot of Jesus messaging in, messianic messaging in the
That
stories.
obscures the truth.
Right.
You know what? It doesn't, because if you don't want to look, if you don't want to know it and you don't want to practice it, you're never going to convince somebody to do it who doesn't want to anyway. So, you know what I mean?
Well, and I just remember one time we were doing a men's breakfast at church, and we were talking about this is when Endgame was coming out, the Avengers movies, and we were like, oh man, either they had just come out or we were making plans to go see it. And one guy just goes, "Oh, it's all witchcraft anyway." Be like, "Oh, for God's sake,
Witchcraft.
it's not witchcraft. It's freaking entertainment, man. It's literally based off comic books. Like, let's not take it too seriously here."
Yeah. You ever recited a prayer while lighting a candle and some incense? That's a ritual.
Yeah,
You know?
I say let's not go down the rabbit hole of all the man-made laws, shall we?
Exactly. Right. Right. They did some funny, duddy stuff. And a lot of that stuff, too, I think was, what was Constantine? He was an emperor. And he put together the first volume of the Bible. He was a Christian emperor. And so they're like, we really need to control these folks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like Book of Eli type stuff.
yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so there's the big showdown after Billy and Kate destroyed the vast majority,
Oh, yeah, they did it by blowing up the movie theater,
blowing up
right?
the movie theater, which is one of my, I love that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Blowing up the movie theater, and then they have the big showdown in the sporting goods store, and
Yeah,
they got Gizmo riding around in the car and
that's
everything.
right. Right around on the Barbie car, right?
Yeah.
That was cute. It was
Uh,
just adorable.
and then so is it Stripe, right?
Yeah, Stripe,
Stripe finds his way
the water
into
fountain.
the water fountain, sticks his finger in there, starts to start the process all over again, and then they ended up destroying him with bright light.
Yes, like a vampire. It ended like Fright Night.
That thing was that's the other thing, man. When they die, holy crap, was that just terrifying?
Yeah,
Like the way like he melted, I'm like, holy moly.
yeah. That was nuts. See, I like those practical effects though, man. I mean, that was somebody's blood, sweat, and tears into
Yeah, you don't get that type of effects with a spider monkey.
that. Ah, you get your face bit off.
Oh my gosh.
You know that part? You know that part in the Batman trailer where he's like, "I'm vengeance," and he beats the shit out of that guy.
Right.
That's what you get with a spider monkey. You get Phoebe Cates going, "Oh God."
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's a classic, and I don't know if you've seen Gremlins 2, but I think
I
Gremlins
have
2
not.
I think Gremlins 2 is one of the better sequels. Once again, don't take it so damn seriously. It's not as nearly as good as the first one.
But you're saying it's been as sequels go. You're saying
I think it's one of the more fun sequels.
sure.
You know, don't take it like I said, don't take it too seriously. But there's some weird There's some weird shit in that one too.
I gotta watch it now.
Where I'll just say there's a girl gremlin trying to hook up with a guy, and he seems okay with it.
Kind of like Evil Lynn and Skeletor.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So, but that's my critique of Gremlins. I love it. I think it's great. But like I said, hate to keep harping on, but it for a kind of goofy '80s holiday movie, it really went some places that I think a lot of people didn't expect it to, and actually, hit a lot of notes that a lot of people don't usually that don't usually get hit for Christmas movies. Just talking about the one, yeah, a veteran who's got obvious post traumatic stress. You have Kate's character who hates Christmas, and she's got a damn good reason for not liking Christmas.
Trauma.
It's people have trauma. People actually have issues. It's weird in this little town. People actually have issues, and they're not all happy and holly jolly like in I hate to say it, like in it's not like Whoville, right?
Right. It's not like Google.
But
Did you ever see the Halloween Grinch?
I don't know. I have not.
It's Grinch night. It's
Oh,
crazy. No. Yeah. People are freaking out, going, "It's Grinch night! It's Grinch night!" Fuck, Grinch is coming down to fuck people up. I don't remember what the Grinch wanted to do in that one. I can't remember, but it was a lot darker then.
Yeah,
It wasn't better, but it was darker.
I don't even remember that one. All right, Adam. Moving on to the new kid on the block, 2021's 8-bit Christmas.
Yay!
Hold on. Let me. Yay! All right. So directed by Michael Dowse and written based off the book by Kevin Jakubowski. Sorry, Kevin, if that's not right.
From Jakku.
Right. But it stars Neil Patrick Harris as Jack Doyle, and it's got Winslow Fegley as young Jack Doyle. It's got Steve Zahn, June Diane Raphael as, is that the love interest or is that his mom? I forget. And then a bunch of kids that I don't really recognize, but it's got David Cross in there. It's got a solid cast. I always like Steve Zahn.
I like this movie for a lot of reasons. And you asked earlier, will this really hold up as a new holiday classic? I remember 2003, 4, or whatever, when I went to go see Elf. And right off the bat, I knew that we had something special there because I laughed and all this kind of stuff. And Elf was a good movie. It's almost reaching, a Christmas Story,
Oh, yeah.
heights with like being, overplayed. But it was funny and it had all this. This movie is different. It's a slice of life. I mean, it really is. It's a slice of life. It's like I would say it's almost like a modern day Christmas Story, but it was more interesting. I
Well, it hits a lot of things personally, like for us, because it's obvious. This of all the holiday movies, this one is directed at our generation the hardest
specifically,
because it takes place in the 1980s Chicago. A 10-year-old sets out on a quest to get the Christmas gift of his generation, the latest and greatest video game system, aka the Nintendo Entertainment System. We could we could have done that better, but anyway, the NES was the prize for every Christmas for pretty much the mid '80s on. I remember it was at our house. I remember the year we finally got an NES, and you'd have thought you hit the jackpot, man.
Oh, did you thought like my parents are wealthy because you're so little and you don't know better?
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
I don't remember asking for it. I think my brother probably wanted the Nintendo more than I did, but I just remember when we got it, we're like, yes, we are the coolest right now.
Yeah, it was amazing. I got it that same year the movie took place in 1988. Uh, it was the year I found out there was no Santa Claus. Uh,
Surprise.
Kids, I'm lying, children. But
Once again, not for kids, not for the
yeah,
kids.
yeah, this ain't for the kids. Every time we make a video, I click the button, not for kids. Uh, but yeah, man. I played it like a year, and I think it had been out for 2 years, hadn't it?
I don't remember the exact year that it came out, but
I want to say it was out by 86 or 87
yes, I
because
think
I
that's when we ended up getting, because it wasn't the first year, because it was impossible to get the first year.
yeah, I want to say but I know 1988 is when I got it, and I know my friend had already had it, and I played it over there. Taught me a lesson about economics
Yeah, because
because
the first NES came out in '83.
okay, so yeah, it'd been out for a while. Um, taught me a lesson in economics. You know, I got the video game. I loved it. I was like, hey, I want this video game. We ain't got no money.
Right. You get Duck Hunt, and you get you get Mario Brothers,
And that's it.
because that's what came with the game.
But I mean, later on down the road, my mom and my family hooked me up. But it's not their fault. I was terrible at video games. You know, I was terrible at video games. You played them with me.
Well, it's
Um,
a funny story. I remember one of the first games that was popular that also came up with was ice hockey. And I remember not understanding the ins and outs of hockey at the time, and me just bawling my eyes out because I didn't know what icing was. And because I kept icing the puck and I kept losing and I kept just like getting destroyed by my brother. And I'm just like, what is icing? And I remember legit crying because I was a child and I cried all the time over stupid crap. But I remember crying over icing.
that's hilarious.
And anybody who knows anything about hockey, that's like step 4.
I can't even remember what icing is right now. Isn't that when you like hit the puck
it,
across the
it,
rink and
yeah. So if you're on your side and you shoot the puck across center ice, the main center ice line
right,
into the your opponent's territory, and they touch it first, that's icing, and it gets sent
right.
right back into your area. So it basically makes you take control of the puck and bring it into the zone under control, and don't just shoot it like a child does who doesn't understand hockey.
There are people who understand and I'll quote Kevin Smith a little bit here. Will forget more about football than I'll ever know, but I like football, and football to me is a lot slower and easier to play than fucking hockey. And like that's offsides. I'm like, what? What do you mean it's offsides?
what
It's over
term?
there.
What term is that? Is that a
We
term?
didn't. Yeah, we didn't stop. Who's hiking the puck?
Fuck. What inning is it?
And baseball too. I'm a lot better with that too. I think that hockey is just an awesome, fast-paced sport, and you're better off being, drunk and on cocaine when you play it because I can't play it. I never could. I'm like standing in the middle waiting to get hit.
Yeah, there's no fat guys in hockey.
No,
Not like
no,
football.
no. There's not. Not like football.
Not like football where you can be pretty overweight and be like, I need you for 5 seconds. I need you effort level for 5 whole seconds. Where hockey, it's like, no, you got to be moving constantly. That's why they take shifts. But
Yeah, I move like that. I'm gonna have a stroke.
right. So anyway, getting back to 8-Bit Christmas. So spoiler, it's pretty much about this kid trying to get a Nintendo.
I'm surprised they didn't have more 80s. I actually admire them for that, not having more 80s music in the movie.
Yeah, they could have gone pretty heavy into. They went pretty heavy into the nostalgia anyway, but it feels tempered. Like they could have gone really super sappy '80s, and they didn't. like you
Yeah,
said.
and
It felt like just enough.
it was just enough. The kids were pretty relatable. I mean, like they nailed how the kids should have behaved a little bit back then.
Well, that's the thing, because you always had the one kid who had everything first, which was, you know, quote unquote, the rich kid.
Yeah,
And so there was always that one kid in your neighborhood who always had something first.
yeah.
So that was completely relatable.
Did you catch the name of the lying kid? The kid who lied all the time?
Uh, no,
Really?
there was a lot of kids. I don't remember.
Jeff Farmer.
Oh yes, I did. Yeah, I did remember that, because I'm like, I went to school with the Jeff Farmer.
Yeah, yeah. I hope he saw that movie.
So, but yeah, I think that the cast did especially the child cast did a great job. Um,
Oh,
that
my
they're
absolute favorite part is when they start cheering the rich kid on after he freaks out about the power glove and he just jumps up and does a jump kick into the TV. And the way they shot it, it looked so Sam Raimi,
right.
Evil Dead, Spider-Man-ish. Well, even more Evil Dead. But yeah, and he slams into it, cracks it, backs off, and the thing crushes the dog. Dude, I had to pause it. I had to pause it. I was crying. I was crying laughing.
And then obviously that leads into the video games are dangerous, right?
And he gets the fucking encyclopedias. And that was awesome.
Right, because that was one of the ways he was trying to get it through the Boy Scouts, where it had a what was supposed to be the top prize for what were they selling again? Was it uh,
Wreaths.
wreaths? Yes, selling wreaths, and he ended up, or did he end up winning, or did someone else end up winning? But either
No,
way,
he won.
he
He
won.
won.
Right.
And it was like this big long thing covered in a blanket, which kind of looked like a Nintendo box. You pull it off, it was all encyclopedias. Come to
Encyclopedia
find out, the
Britannica.
rich kid's dad,
The dad and mom went on this crusade against video games,
right,
because,
right.
and they blamed their friends, the everybody else but their kid, for the did the dog die, or did the dog get
No, the dog lived
the
in
dog lived, but it was all
Cassie.
screwed up. Yeah.
That's a good movie.
And then it gets to the point where you think, well, he does get an NES, but in the race back to the school bus, because they go on a school field trip, and they ended up getting them all, and they actually get the NES, but then it gets crushed in the street. It gets run over
By the bus.
by the bus.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the movie, and here's the thing, it goes a little bit sideways on you, because you think it's just a goofy movie about a kid trying to get an NES, but at the end of the day, the kid doesn't get the NES,
No, he doesn't. He has to buy it himself.
and it really takes you on a pretty nice little uh, memory trip, where, because throughout the movie, young Jack Doyle has a lot of interactions with his dad, John, played by Steve Zahn, and there are these odd little jobs that he's got to do, all these odd jobs, and it ends up being his dad doesn't get him the NES, but he gets him instead a tree fort.
Oh my god, that's right. That tree fort was awesome.
And yeah, it's like the coolest tree fort and that was the other thing everybody wanted during the 80s. They always wanted a sweet tree fort. And he built him this tree fort, and there's a lot of the odds and ends that he was making his son do throughout to
Help with it.
yeah, so he was actually contributing without realizing he was contributing to building this. So, and it makes it very much of a, yeah, Nintendo's great and all, but really, it's family's more important. You know, things last longer than a couple $100 machine. This, and that's the thing that Neil Patrick Harris's character, the older Jack Doyle, he still has the treehouse, when he's an adult, and he made sure he took care of it.
Yeah, it was that part of the movie was very touching, especially like the line where you said that I was already seeing or making the plans of watching aliens with this guy, and not the movie but like stargazing for aliens and having camp sleepovers with this kid, and that it was cool. It was really cool.
It was a really touching movie, and it kind of went like, huh. So it's not. I was like, the kid didn't get the the Nintendo, and I was like, man, but it really kind of brought it home with the whole tree fort, and realizing that from just the dad having his initials in the tree fort, and realizing that you know what Christmas is really about, and it's really about uh, gifts are great, but things that last forever, like uh, bonds with your dad, and him making you do things that he didn't even realize he was making them do, like any good parent does.
Yes,
Makes you, teaches you lessons without actually teaching you the lesson.
very inspiring.
All right, Adam. So we know Gremlins a classic. How do we feel about 8-bit Christmas?
I think it's got legs. I think that this movie uh could be a classic. I think that this movie will be discovered as time goes on. Um, and you know what? It's not at the theater, is it?
No, and that's I was just about to say, because it was on HBO Max.
Yeah. So there we go. I mean, it's a streaming movie, probably meant just for streaming, and that's fine. But I think that, yeah. Do I think it's a classic? No, this will age as a classic. I think that Elf was an instant classic.
Right.
Um, but this one will age and become one. I do believe that.
And I think you're right, because especially like we were talking about earlier, it's aimed so much at this generation that I think not that it doesn't have a choice to, but I really think uh, it'll settle in nicely and become a nice nostalgic Christmas movie for our generation.
I'm gonna be a straight up nerd. I'm gonna back it up with a quote from a comic book. Hold on one second.
Shocker.
Okay, so basically, what this reminds me of is when Sally Jupiter in Watchmen is talking to her daughter Lori. Lori comes to visit her. She says, "I know why you're here. I can still read the paper," because she's an older woman, and or she's an elderly woman at this point. And she says, the comedian has died. She says, "Poor Eddie." Now there's like a talk of a rape between her, like Eddie raped her in the past, and what we don't know is that she went back to him and they had a dysfunctional relationship, and the product of that relationship was Lori, her daughter. But Lori doesn't know that that's her father. And she says, "Poor Eddie." And she says, "How can you say that after what he did?" And she says, "You don't know. You just don't know." She's like, "I'm 67 years old. And the future just keeps getting a little darker. But the past, even the grimy parts, keeps getting a little bit brighter." And so that's kind of what this reminds me of. I could see myself, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, God willing, watching this movie and just remembering the first time I watched it at 41, and remember experiencing that stuff. We went outside, we played, man. We rode bikes like the wind, you know. I mean, remember the scene where they do that transition in the movie with Paperboy, and it's like the camera's pushing in on the TV, and then it like digitally changes into the boy riding the bike.
Yep.
He's like, "I could get there in 8 minutes, even in cold weather." I mean, dude, we
That's
went everywhere.
well. That was your first slice of freedom as a kid, was a bicycle,
Yeah,
and you don't see kids riding bikes that much anymore. And God forbid you get stuck behind a bus on a long street, because you're gonna sit there about every 15 feet there's a bus stop. I was like, remember when like the whole neighborhood had to go just to one corner,
And that was it.
and that you either went to school or you didn't. They didn't show up to your house like a personal chauffeur, but
Yeah, it's true though.
it's
Um,
it's just a different world, I guess. So
yeah, I was talking to my buddy about stuff like that. He's our age. Well, he's a year older than me, so he's 2 years older than you, right?
yep,
You're 81, so 79, 80, and 81, right there. And we were talking about the same stuff we were talking about now: riding bikes, staying out to the lights come on, and all that kind of stuff. He goes, yeah. He goes, but you know what, man? It's too crazy now. I wouldn't want my kids out right now like this
nope,
in this world.
nope. Nowadays it's yeah, it's insanity. So, but like you said, seems like the farther you get away from something, usually the brighter it gets sometimes, and that's definitely how childhood seems to go. Where yeah, you can sit there and dwell on all this stuff, but at the end of the day, I think most people would say they're, especially during the holidays, uh, it is when it all seemed to kind of come together. Because
And I'll
I remember every Christmas Eve, I'd be sleeping, waiting for Santa, and my mom and dad would be coming in with bags of toys because they decided to wait till last minute as usual from Toys R Us or whatever, arguing as they're coming in, making all types of ruckus with the bags and everything. But that's how I knew. I'm like, ah, Christmas is here.
Christmas is here. Yeah, exactly.
Not the fact that they were arguing, not the fact that they were probably drunk and out at an odd hour, all that good stuff. But no, I just remember the sleeping on Christmas Eve, hearing all the commotion and going, ah, yes, Christmas has arrived.
I'm gonna get toys.
I say it's here.
Yeah, yeah. Christmas. My mom gave me a bunch of good Christmases. I can never complain about that. Uh, there were some loud ones between her and my older brothers, but yeah. I mean, I was gonna say something else and I forgot. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I said, think a lot of that is like why now I fully embrace. I'm banging on the table again. I'm sorry. I fully embrace like all my nerd passions, and how there isn't like another side of me that is cool. There's not.
Nope.
This is me. This is who I am. I collect toys. I read comics. I watch sci-fi. And you know what, man? When I do that stuff, I forget I'm gonna die one day.
Well, and that's one of the reasons I always said people should pay attention to more nerds, or you should really listen to nerds because they're going to tell you exactly what they think. Whatever opinion they give that's their opinion. It's not false. It's not them being fake. Nerds aren't fake. They're going to tell you if something sucks.
Yeah.
That's why Hollywood is so upset with the quote unquote trolls saying, hey, Hollywood, what you're putting out now sucks. And you know why? Because it sucks. And the nerds are have their voices now because you've been messing with their comic books for so long that they're starting to fight back. But I've always said nerds, like you said, nerds are just honest people. They do not feel bad for the things that they like. They don't feel bad or feel pity for the things that they love, and they're gonna love them no matter what. So if you can, uh, ladies or gentlemen, whoever you're looking for, if you find you a nerd and he tells you something, it's probably the truth.
Agreed. Agreed. Um,
That's why I married a woman who likes Star Trek.
yeah, I mean that's pretty dang good, right there. That makes life gooder.
Makes makes life a little easier being a nerd when you marry one.
Yeah, but I actually you bring that part up too. Uh, my my buddy came into my apartment one day and he's looking around at all my shelves and stuff. And he's like, "This is cool. Do you think this would deter a woman?" I was like, "Oh, I'm too old to give a shit about that
And
anymore.
it's
I
be like,
don't care."
could not care less.
Couldn't even. We didn't even mention. Doesn't even come to mind.
Feel like if we can't get past this, then it's just not going to work.
Yeah. I mean, all of this you got to accept, sweetheart. And then, if we decide we're going to pair up, we'll divvy up the house one way or another.
Yeah, because you're not getting the toys or the cats. So
Yeah, my boys and my girl is going to be coming with us.
but all right, Adam. I think that is a spot to wrap it up. Uh, Once again, want to thank you guys for all the support you guys have been showing us. It's been a great first year, and we're looking forward to the next year. Hopefully, bring you not just more content, but better content. Uh, but just want to say thank you for just all the support you guys have shown us. You guys have been amazing. I say happy holidays, Merry Christmas to whatever you celebrate. To you, happy holidays to you and yours, and look forward to our end of year wrap up show coming up after our Christmas show. Also, we'll be having the No Way Home review as an extra
Yeah.
Christmas gift for us. So,
I'm going to record myself. I'm going to jump on real quick and do a quick, thing on Thursday night. And we got to get that up on the Instagram page. So I'll probably
sure.
send it to you through Messenger.
Okay. Yeah, no
So,
problem. But also, we are on Instagram and Facebook and obviously YouTube. So come check us out. And if you like what we're doing, give us a subscribe, even a share possibly. So,
yes, please like and subscribe to the show. Leave a comment below. Join the conversation. We'd love to hear from you.
yeah,
Um,
if you want to talk about what your favorite Christmas movies are, please do so.
yeah, just be nice to each other. That's all we ask. Be respectful. Um, and if you're not, we'll deal with it one way or another. But one other thing too, we kind of have an announcement to make. If we want to talk about that, we had a discussion about uh a new weekly content where you won't get a lot of like editing or anything and you won't get the cool little jokes that we throw in with our stuff, but you will get a commentary track, and that's all I'm going to say unless Nick is ready to talk about the whole thing.
I think we'll leave that for the end of year show because we'll bring it up with some of the things that we're gonna be bringing up for the 2022 years. So, but
Other than that, well, I'm full of shit.
no, it's not full.
Dying.
He's
I'm
just
dying.
so we'll save that for all of the reveal for next time. But it's a little treat for you. But I'll leave the wrap up for you, Adam.
All right. Well, thank you for watching this. Have a Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, have a Merry 25th of December. Enjoy yourself. Hopefully, you got some time off regardless. I hope this year has been good to you. If this year has not been good, I hope you've overcome any of the obstacles that are in your way. Any other obstacles that are in your way, I pray to a higher power that I like to call God, that He remove those obstacles and touch your life with a deep blessing. And thank you for watching. Thank you for every single view on every single video that we've put out. Grateful for that. And 2022, we're gonna have one more show, and we got some things in the works for 2022.
We got some
And
things cooking.
yeah, we got some things cooking, and I'm excited about it. So I love you guys.